Very good morning to you. It's Regiion at the maverickstar Observatory. Guys, you must be a little bit like me, getting a little bit excited now. Things are starting to come together. We're starting to put the pieces together. We know now where the new magnetic North Pole is going to be located, and a little bit later on in this video, I'm going to show you on Google Earth and actually name the region in this high intensity region here where the pole is heading and will be at some point in the future. Why do we know it's going to be there? Because magnetic dipoles belong in high intensity regions, and the only reason over the northern hemisphere the dipole is where our compass is pointed, by the way. The only reason the dipole isn't in the high intensity region over Russia right now is simply because there is a battle going on, and Canada high intensity region is losing that battle, and as a result of that, over the last 100 years or thereabouts, the magnetic North Pole has been migrating towards Russia. We're going to show you in conjunction where that is exactly in this video, and we're going to name the region of where it's heading, and that region is slap bang in the centre of this high intensity region over Russia. We're going to name it for you, and we're also going to show you the progressive path, which is astonishingly accurate today, guys. I can't believe it. We've been tracking this perfectly since a few years ago we took up the idea of investing time and money. And of course, if you've been following me, you know I had to teach myself programming to get our all singing, dancing, bespoke piece of equipment, the TriMag, up and running and working, and has been doing so since the day we put it into practice with very little maintenance. We have had to replace a track here and there, and we've also had to replace a transceiver on that a few times, but nevertheless it has accurately tracked the magnetic North Pole to this point in time. So before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to a couple of people that supported the channel yesterday with a little donation. And just mention down below there is an opportunity, if you want to, it's not mandatory, if you want to support this public platform in monitoring one of the rarest events of mankind, and it really is mankind, guys, because the last time this happened was 780,000 years ago. There is no recorded data, so probably the efforts that we're doing at this observatory, dedicating our time and what little bit of money we raise to the investigation of this rare anomaly, which is 500 years overdue, and that should put the hairs up on the back of your neck, guys, because we don't know if this is going to be a successful reversal this time round, because it is overdue 500,000 years. But again, just to say thank you, just a few people, as well as all those patrons who have been stood with us since January last year. I know some of the numbers have dropped off, but again, big thanks to Susan in San Francisco, Bob, Jen, Kathy and Doug, who regularly support the observatory without fail and are trying to help us locate a muon detector down in Brazil, which, as you know, is the South Atlantic anomaly. As you can see on this chart, it is the lowest region on our planet of any magnetic intensity. And the only other thing I want to just mention briefly is, why do we know so confidently that the pole is heading to this location, which we're going to show you on Google Earth in a minute? Why do we know that? Simply just take a look at the bottom of the screen, and you'll see here in the epicenter of the main high intensity over the southern hemisphere of our planet, you will see the dipole, or the south magnetic pole. Over the north, we know it's not in the epicenter yet, but it is heading there towards Russia, and the only reason for that is because there is two very similar strength high intensity regions over the northern hemisphere right now, and it puts our magnetic North Pole just north of the islands above the UK, or off to the right of Greenland. Guys, we've done an amazing job today. I reckon we should continue doing this. This is going to unfold very likely in our lifetimes. It's going to change the planet and its weather systems for the seasons to come. And for that reason, I believe it's well worth being supported. I mean, when you look at all the other things that have been supported, really, in comparison, is anything more important than this at this time of our lives? This is a global game changer. And, you know, I just ask for your support. Okay, let's hit the road running, guys. Let's have a look at Google Earth and let's see how well we've been tracking the magnetic North Pole migration. So, guys, as you can see, I've put a pin in the region of that epicenter of the high intensity region over Russia that we was just looking at on the previous map, and you will see that it falls just south of the Krasnoyarsk region in Russia. But take a look at the corridor of how we've been tracking the magnetic North Pole in the direction of that region to date. We've been spot on and accurate to this point in time, and I believe we're going to continue doing that. Now remember, we're about 400 miles off the 40-degree mark, and probably from that point on, the poles will go into the wheat field lines and start to accelerate faster towards the Krasnoyarsk region in Russia. Let's put the grid on so we can see just how close it is to the Arctic Circle. As you can see, it is just outside the Arctic Circle. This is going to change, you know, a lot of things about our planet when it arrives there at some point in the future. And remember, it's not going to stay there. Once it arrives in the Krasnoyarsk region of Russia, it is still going to continue moving south, and that high intensity region may change its position over the coming time as it starts to move further south towards the equatorial region. The reason why I believe it's going to do that, and it seems very logical to think like this, is because we have on the southern hemisphere of this Earth, you know, that high intensity region which is moving up now on the peninsula of Australia, over the south now, moving ever closer to one of our magnetometers there, and soon to be one of our muon detectors when it gets there over the next coming days. You know, we are going to see it increase and move up as it has doing so towards the equatorial region in the direction of the Krasnoyarsk region, where the high intensity region is. And we know that these are oppositely charged you know, magnetic regions. We know that there's a north and a south, and you know, it just seems common reason to think that these will ever more attract each other. And like I showed you on that little demonstration the other day, when we get these two come very close together, they will snap close and we will get that reversal at that point in time. So, to date, we're doing a very good job, accurately. As you can see, the corridor of those pins at the top left-hand corner are moving towards the Krasnoyarsk region in Russia, where the epicenter of the high-intensity region is. We're going to see an ever decreasing intensity over the Canada region, and I predict that it remains to be seen, guys. You know, and the reason for that is because we have three anomalies that are in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere in the same region. We've got Arctic climate, magnetic poles and rotational axes, and I am confident that they are not there just by coincidence. I reckon each in turn plays a part for the other one, and as a result of that, you know, we could see the Arctic climate move to closer, centering on the Krasnoyarsk region of Russia. We could see perhaps a warming in Canada over the next few years as the pole leaves and takes the climate with it. But heaven forbid we start to see the rotational axis shift. That will cause havoc and change the look of our world forever. You know, it's not just the possibility, as the magnetic poles have taken a further 500,000 years to migrate on average. You know, that in itself tells us that we may not even get a reversal. What if we lose the magnetosphere forever? We'll end up looking like Mars. If that is the case, all biodiversity on this planet will cease within maybe 1,000 years. That would be a complete and entire catastrophe. And it is not off the cards. If any scientist from any organisation says that that is the case, then just ask the question, why then this time has it taken 500,000 years to go for a reversal? Is something solidifying in the core of the Earth? Is our planet, due to expire? Is the magnetosphere due to extinguish itself? We will have to wait and see. And that is why I say, guys, this is so big. This anomaly should be regularly in the media. It just simply isn't. We can see firsthand the migration happening, and we know now where the location of the magnetic North Pole is travelling, and we know that it's doing it at a constant and continuous rate towards that location. Guys, help support the observatory. We can do a lot more in monitoring this rare anomaly that has never occurred before in human history, and you can do that with the link down there in the description. It's as simple as that. We are starting to rot here at the observatory through lack of funding. I mean, there is a lot. I mean, you can hear the CPU on this old laptop that can barely do the rendering these days. We need £4,000 for new laptops, and with that we can make better videos. You know that, don't we, guys? We're just scraping along all the time, and it's very frustrating. That we are massively underfunded for the work that we're actually achieving. I mean, we have constantly tracked accurately now, as you can see, the position of the magnetic North Pole and the direction and where it is going to go in the foreseeable future. And if any mainstream organisation did as much as what we have at this observatory for you guys, we've tried to keep it free for as many people as possible, but inevitably we are a crowd-funded, observatory, and therefore it requires funding. And I just apologise on one hand for asking for support, but on the other one, I shouldn't have to, because there is a service being provided. I know a lot of people don't see it that way, but this is an important anomaly that the public are unaware of. Only reason we have today 30,000 subscribers is because of the constant effort that has been put in to inform people of these changes that are taking place. So I just hope that we continue getting funded, and I hope that funding does pick up at some point. I don't want to wait until the last minute, and then people, when they really do start to see the changes and mainstream media come out and say, oh, this is because of the magnetic pole reversal, that the whole climate has gone to shit. At that point, it'll be too late to be funding us, because, at some point, like they always do, the mainstream organisations are going to have no choice but to take it upon themselves to start informing people of this rare anomaly that's taking place. But until then, we're here, we're the originals, and we just ask that you support us in our efforts to keep doing what we're doing, because you can see now the fruits. If you've ever donated to this channel, you've been a patron, you can see the fruits there of, those, that support that you've put in so far. Hopefully you're as excited today as what I am, as we begin to now concentrate on compiling some of the data to now look ahead as to more prominent things that will change during this magnetic reversal, such as what we've been talking about over the last few days with the magnetosphere. I mean, did anyone know until yesterday that the magnetosphere on our planet was seasonal? Did anyone know that it actually changed throughout the seasons? And if that changes throughout the seasons, then I just ask you, to ask yourself the question, could it therefore play a very important role actually in the seasons here on the surface of the Earth? Because I believe it does. I really do. And we just need to put the pieces together more accurately to prove that point. But I know this for a fact. I've never, as many people on YouTube and in mainstream organisations, they have never brought that fact to light, that the magnetosphere is seasonal. It changes as we revolve around the sun seasonally. So I'll leave it here, guys. You enjoy your day. Don't be so angry with me to mention the fact that there is a link down there. I'm trying to further the capabilities of this observatory and make it more of an enjoyable experience for you when you do watch these videos. The only way I can do that is by making more investment. Simple as that. I have the time, I have very little money, but I do have, as you probably already gathered, a lot of passion for this topic, and I know that a lot of you do out there as well. So if I could just ask for your support, that would be more than enough. I'll do the rest. Okay, guys. Have an amazing day, as I usually do, as always. Bye for now.